So today we're going to discuss some Chinese history. You may be wondering, wait a minute, didn't you already do that? Well, calm down, you illiterate guywol. Let me show you a little chart. This is the Chinese history I talked about. This is the stuff I didn't cover. This is my most researched video. Then again, that's not saying much coming from me. Well, I think I'm done rambling, so let's begin the video. The year is 1368 and an unpopular Yuan dynasty was overthrown. You may ask, why was the Yuan dynasty unpopular? The main reason was they were not Chinese but Mongolian. So let's go back a few hundred years, and China was conquered by the Mongolians, and they created the Mongolian Yuan dynasty to administer it. But after the dynasty was dealt with, they were replaced with the ethnically Han Ming dynasty. The first emperor of the Ming was the Han Wu emperor, whose accomplishments were having 42 kids and not intervening in Vietnam. The next emperor's reign was pretty lit, literally. His charred body was given to the Yongle emperor, who was quite the character. After cooking the guy before him, the Yongle emperor used the ancient Chinese one known as Julian Jishu, or what translates to family execution. And the Yongle emperor used this many times to make sure that his rule was secure. In 1410, he launched multiple invasions against the Mongolians to the north, but after multiple years, they stopped fighting. To the west, the Yongle emperor decided that the Tibetans would make a good ally, and he would send gifts to the Tibetan leader. This would start a friendship that would last forever. To the south, the Ming broke the #1 rule of war and invaded Vietnam. After a while, they successfully captured the region. The Yongle Emperor's most notable accomplishment were the expeditions of Zheng He. Zheng He was famous for his many voyages across the Indian Ocean and Indonesia. British author Gavin Menzies wrote a series of books about how Zheng He may have been the first to discover America. The series of books are quite far-fetched, even suggesting that the Aztec leader Montezuma was Chinese. The books are heavily criticized in the historic community, only getting recognition by the Yuan University in China. The Yongle Emperor would die after getting sick in the Gobi Desert, likely after drinking too much cactus juice. The next few emperors did really nothing important. One of the emperors made some art which rivals some of the greatest artists. The next emperor of interest is the Zheng emperor, who was a wild guy. He started his reign when he was only 14 years old. On one occasion, he burned his palace down after having barrels of gunpowder stored inside of it. He also liked going months ignoring his duties as emperor and would travel across China, while his council would beg for him to come back. He would also have his council dress up as merchants, and he would dress up as a common, pretend to be poor. This would make literally everyone but him feel offended and degraded. As if this guy could not get wacky enough, he had an alter ego named Zhao Shu, so he didn't have to have responsibilities and could fight Mongols. He was also obsessed with Islam and may have been a Muslim, but it's unknown if he was. He would live to be 31. He would die after getting drunk and falling off his boat into a lake. The next emperor was the Zhejiang emperor, who would allow the Portuguese to own the port of Macau, which would be the nail in the coffin for Imperial China. The next few emperors really did nothing. Then we get the Tai Cheng emperor, who only got to rule for 1 month. And a few years before his rule, there was a scandal where a lunatic named Zhang Chai defeated the entire security staff of the Forbidden Palace with only a staff. The next emperor was the Tianqi emperor, who would die without an heir in the explosion. Then the final emperor of the Ming was the Chongzhen emperor. He tried his best to save the Ming Empire, but a series of famine resulted in waves of unwashed Chinese peasants raiding the countryside. In the north, a Manchurian tribe leader named Narachi, who united the tribes of Manchuria, saw the weakened state of the Ming and saw an opportunity. After sieging the Great Wall, he slowly conquered northern China. They would eventually capture the capital of the Ming, Beijing. At this point, the Ming reformed into a creatively named Southern Ming, and the ethnically Manchurian Qing dynasty would take power, and in 40 years, the Qing would have full control of China. So after hundreds of years of rule, what did the Ming accomplish? While the embarrassments and failings of the Ming, by far the worst mistake they did was allowing European influence in China. That would result in the fall of Imperial China and in the rise of the dictatorship in modern China today. Well, that was a brief history of the Ming dynasty. I hope you learned something from this video. I upload weekly and I'm always open for new suggestions for about future videos. Please subscribe, like, and comment. Bye!